Okay, Warren Fiscal Court, we ready, Chris? We're good? Okay, Warren Fiscal Court, Friday, June 11th, 2021. It's now called to order. We want to welcome all of you here, but it's good to see some faces in the crowd here now. But we're about as tight as we need to be at this point, but we're spread out good, and I appreciate you all's cooperation on doing that. And but I want to also welcome the fiscal court members, and particularly this morning, Esquire Doug Gorman, who's going to lead us in prayer, and immediately afterward will lead us in the pledge.
Bow with me. Father, thank you so much for this day that you knew would be here, but also this day you provided for us. We're so grateful to have woken up this morning in Warren County, Kentucky. And I would ask your grace, your mercy, and your blessings upon each member of this court as we set out to be true servants to the community, and for our actions and our deeds and our decisions and our words be ones that would honor you and honor this community. We are grateful for the opportunities presented, Lord. Grateful for seeing light at the end of the tunnel of this entire pandemic, and we are excited about our future, Lord. But we're just so grateful again for the opportunity to gather together. Lord, I'd ask your blessings upon this court, upon the proceedings of this court, and upon all the members present and all of our guests that are present as well. And I ask all these things in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Please face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you, Squire Gorman. Ms. Hale, will you please call the roll?
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Gorman.
Here.
Esquire Payne.
Here.
Okay. All right, first item of business is to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of May 21st, 2021, and the special call meetings of Friday, June 4th, 2021, and Monday, June 7th, 2021.
Motion.
Motion with Squire Cummings, second.
Second.
Second, Squire Gorman. Any discussion or questions, additions or corrections to any of the minutes? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 5 is to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department.
So made in the quarter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 6 is to approve personnel changes for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Payne. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 7 is to approve a second and final reading of Ordinance 2130, an ordinance of the fiscal court of the county of Warren, Kentucky, relating to the modification of Warren County Development Area Number 3, including and authorizing and reestablishing Warren County Development Area Number 3 as a reestablished new and modified local development area for economic and infrastructure development to be known as Warren County Development Area Number 3A, designating the ITA working with the county treasurer's office as the agency responsible for the oversight, administration, and implementation of this ordinance, designation of a development board to act in an advisory capacity, authorizing the imposition of an occupational license tax, establishing a special fund, authorizing and approving a local development agreement, providing for periodic accounting and analysis, and authorizing such other actions as are necessary or required by the Act with respect to the modification of Warren County Development Area Number 3, with the reestablishment of the Warren County Development Area Number 3A.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings.
Second.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? I'm not going to blame you for that, Mr. Penn. All righty. No discussion or questions? We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 8 is to approve resolution number 2115 of the Fiscal Court of the County of Warren, Kentucky, granting Warren County Water District a temporary access easement and permanent sewer easement on real property located by the County of Warren, Kentucky, located in the Kentucky Trans Park, and authorizing such other actions as are necessary or required by the granting of said easement.
Did you say resolution?
I did say resolution.
I want to make sure.
Yeah,
'cause it
yeah,
was- okay.
yeah. Okay. Do you have any comments or questions about that? Anyone? Do you have a motion, Squire Cummings, second Squire Lawrence? No question, just please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 9, I think you all received a copy of all the grants that are being applied for throughout the county. This is just, I want to give Mr. John Dix an opportunity to speak to this, but this is to grant authority to apply for grant funding for drinking water and wastewater with fiscal court providing any matching funds if necessary.
Thank you, Judge and Magistrates. I appreciate your all's consideration on this. We are moving forward on applying for grants for the ARPA funding that's coming out. As we move forward, we want to continue the expansion of sewer throughout the county, and that's what you're going to see in your proposals is ways to keep our growth going. And we've seen excellent return from your all's investment of expansion of sewers throughout the county, and we want to continue that to continue our growth. So that's the projects that you have in front of you today, is for us to continue that. We have a lot of challenges in meeting these growth needs, but these will help do that. So I appreciate your consideration. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? I think you all kind of fully understand this. This is for basically 3 projects, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
Motion.
we have a motion by Squire Lawrence.
Second.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions?
Just want to make sure I understand, our matching grant, was it a 50/50 or is it?
We don't know that there's going to be any matching
match, if there
grant,
is
but
any.
but
Yeah.
it's possible.
Our
But it could
plan
be
would be
50-50.
that you do not have to match, is the way we're going to try to approach this.
The way our understanding is right now, of course, the federal government is changing the interim instructions on everything regularly. So we don't, but we do believe at this moment there won't be a match. But we wanted to make sure that should there be, we have that authority to do so. But if it turns out there's anything above 50%, I'll bring this back to you all. But I don't, we're pretty comfortable on it
That's right.
at this point. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Have any other questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 10 is to approve Resolution 2114, resolution consenting to, let me see, no, this is, that's okay, that's fine. Number 10 is to approve Resolution 2114, resolution consenting to Intermodal Transportation Authority's granting Warren County Water District a permanent sewer easement on rail spur lot in the Kentucky Transpark.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next item is item 11, approve resolution 2110 consenting to Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc.'s conveyance of 5.8 acres to Commonwealth of Kentucky for the use and benefit of the Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways and partial cancellation of second supplemental contract, lease, and option related to the said property. Very concise.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 12 is to approve resolution 2111 consenting to Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc.'s conveyance of 35.44 plus or minus acres of real property to Premier Commercial Realty LLC and a partial cancellation of second supplemental contract, lease, and option related to said real property.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 13 is to approve Resolution 2112, consenting to Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc.'s conveyance of 21.55 acres of real property to Hilltop Logistics Center, LLC, and partial cancellation of second supplemental contract, lease, and option related to said property.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings.
Second.
Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 14 is to approve first reading of Ordinance 2131, rezoning property located at 0 Nashville Road, bounded by CSX Railroad, Woodburn Allen Springs Road, and Stewart Farm Avenue from agriculture to single-family residential containing approximately 97.8290 acres and presently owned by Balance J&P Farms LLC.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter,
Second.
second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 15 is to approve the second and final reading of Ordinance 2128, budget amendment.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman. Second. Second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 16 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2129, approving amended and restated agreement for the establishment of the Joint City-County Planning Commission of Warren County and the Joint City-County Planning Board of Adjustments, and authorizing Judge Executive to execute the agreement.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 17 is to approve the memorandum of agreement with Commonwealth of Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Office of Drug Control, and Warren County for the prevention, education, treatment, and enforcement services effective from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings,
Second.
second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I didn't notice that. Okay. Pardon me?
Like number
We
18.
need to approve the April 2021 Treasurers Report.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 19 is to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Warren County Sheriff's Office and the Barren River Area Safe Space, Inc. Brass will place domestic violence advocate at the Sheriff's Office at no cost to Warren County.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. I want to, Marta Woosley's here with us this morning, and we're just wanted to introduce her to the fiscal court members. And if you or the sheriff want to make any comments about this, certainly this is something that is badly needed, a little more concentration on victim advocate, because we're totally understaffed in the only areas where we have victim advocates now. And a Commonwealth Attorney's Office is overwhelmed with their caseload, so this.
Right, yeah, we greatly appreciate this opportunity, and this is a way that in the hurriedness of day-to-day activity, when we deal with domestic violence, EPOs, DVOs, IPOs, a lot of times we just don't have the opportunity to follow back up to ensure that we kind of walk these victims through the process. So this is another opportunity to have somebody, reach out and personally follow back up with them, days, weeks after the actual event, just to check on them and to make sure that they have all the resources that they may have. So we're greatly appreciative of this opportunity, and when Tori had approached us with it, we just wanted to make sure we went through and took care of it. So COVID kind of put a little bit of an issue with getting this in place. We talked about this a long time ago, but thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
We definitely welcome you, Marta. This is something that's badly needed, and we appreciate your helping us out.
Appreciate the opportunity to help out. On my heart to be able to help more people out.
So we have a motion second.
We do.
Any other discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 20 is to approve the 2020 franchise settlement for the Warren County Sheriff's Office.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 21 is to approve change order number 12 to Scott Murphy and Daniel for the rental of a 120 kW generator to power the Buchanan Gymnasium while the electric grid goes offline for 3 days to tie old building into the new at a cost of $6,049 and $6,049 even.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 22 is a joint order from the city and county where we're both acting on it. It's not a joint order, but it requires both bodies to appoint Area Lodging Association. This is to order number 2109 for Warren County, appointing Seth McLean to the Bowling Green Area Lodging Association. That Seth is with the Holiday Inn at Heartland.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 23 is to approve Order 2110, appointing Regina Jackson and Derek Olive to the Warren County Public Library Board of Trustees.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 24 is to approve determination in the amount of $35,696.53 for a hydroseeder for stormwater management. This is paid for through the Stormwater Management Fund, and it's to ensure the soil stabilization on ditching work when they're doing repairs.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 25 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $6,000 to Vincent Lighting Systems to repair the to repair the fire retardant curtain at Skypack. This doesn't sound like an emergency for a curtain, but it is when the fire marshal requires that these get repaired. So, just want to, okay, motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 26, to approve emergency determination in the amount of $2,367 for replacement of a compressor for the HVAC at Buchanan Park. Comfort Systems USA will perform the work.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 27 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2132, rezoning property at the end of Skees Road and 608 Skees Road from agriculture to planned unit development containing approximately 31.02 acres presently owned by Skees Development Group LLC.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings. Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Let's call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 28 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2133, rezone property at the rear portion of Carter's Crossing that fronts Cumberland Trace Road, also known as a portion of 0 Annapolis Lane and 0 Denver Lane from single-family residential and floodplain to agriculture and floodplain containing approximately 92.33 acres and presently owned by Luke and Kim Williams.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions about this?
I figured this had already been through planning and zoning and.
Yeah, but there's on it back to ag.
Pardon me?
There's on it back to ag. It went to us a long time ago as single-family residential,
So they're rezoning it
back to ag.
I get you.
Really unusable land down there.
Yep. Strange.
Any other questions? That's correct, isn't it, Ben?
That is correct.
All right. All right. No other questions, please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 29 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2134, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and McKinney Farms Subdivision, Phase 3, A and B.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne. Second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Abstain.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Okay. Item number 29. Nope, excuse me, item number 30 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2135, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and Crimson Ridge, Phase 2.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings,
Second.
second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 31 is to approve the yearly recurring contract fee to AlertSense for iPause in the amount of $4,525. This contract originally approved in 3/10/2017. iPause enables emergency management to send WEA and EAS alerts to mobile devices. Now, you all understand what this is, but I'd really like for Mr. Pearson to explain it to
Thank you, Jim.
all of us who don't know exactly what it all is.
What this does, Judge, is allows us through electronic computer, an app system to send emergency weather, governmental warnings out to the public, particularly through smartphones. It's very fast, it's very quick, and we've had it in place for several years now. But basically, it's a way for us to get emergency warning to the general public on a fast notice.
Yeah, and it is, it has been very helpful in several situations, but can you explain what WEA means and EAS?
EAS is the emergency alert system. It's the tones that you hear through radio and TV, whenever there's a weather warning. WEA is the same thing. It's the weather specific system for tornadoes, earthquakes, and things of that nature. But most of the time, we utilize the EAS system. When we receive those from the National Weather Service, it allows us to push it out through our system to our local residents.
Okay. Before we go ahead with this, I know this is out of order, but you want to go ahead and explain about the late February storm and applying for assistance?
Be glad to, Judge. I sent an email to all the magistrates and yourself about, I wanted to make sure the public was aware.
Right.
The late February, early March flooding event that we had in Warren County. Warren County is eligible for homeowner and renters that had damages for assistance. And there's a 1-800 number that we put out on social media and on our website. I'd like to encourage everybody to do that had damages, uninsured losses or regular losses. But there is a June 21st deadline. Along with that, Judge, any small business that had flood damage as well can apply for a small business loan, and that number is also there. And then just came in yesterday, any family that needed assistance with funeral costs for a loved one that possibly died from COVID-19, there's also an 800 number for that, and it'll be posted on our website. It's also on the county's website. So anybody you know that fits one of those categories, I encourage you to have them utilize those 800 numbers and see if they're eligible for assistance.
Okay. Everyone understands that. Now, to the motion to approve the yearly recurring contract fee to AlertSense in the amount of $4,525. Do I have anyone who'd like to make that motion?
Motion.
Yes, motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 32 is to approve Resolution 2116 approving a permanent easement on real property owned by the County of Warren to Atmos Energy and authorizing such other actions as necessary to be required by the granting of said easement. Now, this is a little bit, it doesn't quite tell the whole story. Approving this permanent easement on property owned by Warren County, it's also owned jointly with the city of Bowling Green. This is Lampkin Park is where it's going across, but I know it's operated as a city park, but it's owned by both of us, so we're both having to do this.
So moved.
We have a motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 33 is to approve the I-65 beautification funding agreement with the City of Bowling Green and Warren County and Conventions and Visitors Bureau. It's a three-way split. So,
So moved.
motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
I have one, Judge.
Yes, sir.
I know in the agreement, it talks about a specific dollar amount that each was contributing. What happens in the event that dollar amount is higher than that figure? We still equally splitting three ways? Or does it fall on the county?
It falls on the county unless we can renegotiate it with those, the other
I know in
people.
this initial startup, we've had a lot of expense on purchasing equipment,
Yeah,
and I'm just trying to figure out, and so they're paying just their dollar figure that's in this agreement up to that amount for both Conventions Bureau and city.
yeah.
Anything else would fall on us then? I'm not sure I understand that.
As of right this second, that is accurate, yes. We don't anticipate it being greater this time, even with the other startup costs, because a great deal of that startup cost is being split with the city. Some of that equipment up to, I think it's right at $50,000 that the city is putting in on top of this. This doesn't include that cost that we've already put in for equipment.
Right.
So there may be other costs that we don't know, but we don't anticipate this first year or two it going over that amount, because we anticipate building up some of that over time, because we will have higher costs later on. Right now, this beautification, Beautify 65 process is taking care of some interchanges, everything that we've been given authority by the state and federal entities to maintain. But we can't maintain part of it yet because they don't want us down close to the interstate. So when we take on that as well, it's going to get to be more.
And that potentially we're gonna get some funding back from the state or federal when that happens. And I know during the whole proposal and all the stuff they talked about, and all the meetings I sit in, at some point, they were gonna, hopefully the money that was awarded to the contractors that do the mowing was eventually gonna flow into this.
We plan on that happening next year. This year, they'd already contracted for that, and we hope we get it done by next year, because we're actually meeting with them, I think this week, about looking at getting that done. But we're not going to have that expense until next year at the earliest. But we want it to be as soon as possible, because no matter how well we trim everything up, if they're not maintaining it down by the interstate, which they'll do 1 or 2 rounds down there, maybe 3 times in the summer. We need it done 12 times in the summer. But we're talking about 22 miles of frontage from 30 to 20. So there will be some funds that come back to us that would have ordinarily gone to the other contractors, because they won't be engaged in this particular.
Last question, I guess it's to Greg. I guess we're setting up a separate accounts and so forth for that whole program,
Yes,
under
sir.
budget line items and so forth. I just making sure.
Yeah, we have separate line items set up for the Beautify 65 project to track.
All right, thank you.
Okay. We have a motion
We're doing a second.
and a second. Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 34, to approve the 211 report for May 2021.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Just sad, it seems like the numbers aren't going down. We were hoping the numbers would go down, but this report seems to continue to be pretty high.
Yeah. They provide a good service for
Yes,
us.
they do.
Seems like there's a lot of utilities problems on this report, Judge.
Tom is talking, he's got it individual.
Okay. Tom, you said something
I
about,
said, it seems like there's a lot of utilities on this report where they've been,
yeah. Any other question?
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 35 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2136 to approve the 21-22 budget for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 36, approve emergency determination in the amount of $14,237 to Gunner Roofing for roof and gutter repairs at Buchanan Park.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All righty, number 37 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $1,608 to Knight Electric for electrical repairs at Buchanan Park.
motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne. Any discussion or questions? Being none, please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 38 is to approve resolution. It should be number 2117 instead of 2114, so if you want to make that change. It's approved resolution 2117 accepting the roads list, which is attached to your packets as part of the Warren County road system.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings.
Second.
Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Who put this together? Josh, did you do this?
No, it was the Brad office.
Brad office did
They did,
this.
yes.
The only thing I would like to see, this is great, because the only thing I would like to see if somehow they could be separated by district. I know it's just a total list of all the roads we have, and that's great to have this information, but it'd be nice if it was broke down by magisterial district, that way we know what's in our district as we go forward on, as we're doing budgets for road improvements, road resurfacing and all that stuff. It'd be helpful to have that broke down.
Yeah.
If that could be done.
We'll ask them. Josh, have you talked to Eric Sexton lately, or?
Well, this particular project that Kim at the Brad took care of can definitely be sorted by magisterial district. We already have all of our county roads in a GIS database that we can sort by magisterial district pretty easy. I'll work on getting that done. It shouldn't be too difficult, and I can send you those as a PDF or as an Excel file that you all can sort through, and that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Thanks,
But
Josh.
really, the credit for this project goes to Kim and Brad. I just needed to proof it after she finished it up for us.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. Could be that Brad already has the capability of doing that real quickly, but as you all already know, some of these roads are in two districts,
Yes.
and some, in fact, in three, depending on where they stop. But anyway, just wanted to, but yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Number 39 is to accept the only bid received for 2101 aggregate materials from Martin Marietta.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 40 is to accept the only bid received for 2102 emulsified asphalt from Asphalt Materials, Inc.
So,
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions?
Josh, I think I talked to you about this earlier. It'd be nice to share the rest of the court. Although we're getting one bid, the pricing seems to be holding line, and was very pleased that it didn't go up very much on most of these items, except for everything but one. And just maybe want to elaborate.
Yes, sir. So, it's not surprising and actually fairly expected to just get single bids on a lot of these. At least, in this area and even in this region, there's just not a whole lot of providers for some of this material. In particular, the quarries for aggregate material. Martin Marietta has multiple locations in Warren County that provides us to pull rock and from a couple different sides. There are some competitors in surrounding counties, but they didn't bid this year for whatever reason. But we're happy with the ones we got. And as you alluded to on the pricing, I didn't provide you guys with a breakdown from last year's cost to this year's cost because it was a lot of paperwork. But as a whole, things held fairly flat. Our aggregate material went up about 4%. Our emulsified asphalt, our liquid asphalt that we make our cold mix with, actually held flat. It actually dropped a few cents, which was somewhat shocking to me. But our asphalt resurfacing numbers only adjusted 3 to 4%, which was great. The biggest negative was our metal pipe. We spend quite a bit on metal drainage pipe, whether it's for driveway entrances or culverts. We knew they were going up. I was shooting for 40 or 50%, but the numbers we saw were 75 to 80% increase, which is very unfortunate. This is kind of getting off subject a little bit, but I will probably ask the court, as well as work with Greg, I would like to place an order in the next 15 to 20 days to stockpile some metal pipe, get some orders in before the end of the fiscal year so we can take advantage of last year's set pricing. It's not going to get us through the entire year, but anything we can do to try to hold the cost down, we need to do. Unfortunately, even if the pipe prices and metal prices tend to drop, these are one-year contracts, so we just need to be smart with the way that we order material and how much we hold on our site. We're limited with how much we can store, but I may move some out to our stormwater shop as well. But yes, that's something that was a little bit concerning to me. It should be to the court as well, but I'm hoping this is just a one-year thing. kind of some side effects of COVID and by next year, hope we're back to normal. But if you've got any specific questions, I'd be glad to answer.
So did you say you would like to have a motion to go ahead and stockpile? Can we do
Well,
that?
Rex, I don't know that I necessarily need to. We've got a existing contract that's still in place, but I do need to sit down with Greg and at least talk to you guys about the idea of that, because I don't know if that's going to require any sort of budget amendment right here at the end of the year. But I'll sit down with Greg this afternoon, if that's okay, and try to work through some of those, and I'll keep you guys updated.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 41 is to accept the only bid received for 2103 metal drainage pipe from Bowling Green Steel.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman,
Second.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Amy, Amy,
Yes, sir.
do we need to address what he just said about possibly stockpiling and taking advantage of our existing pricing? Is that something we need to do, or just give them authority to do what we need to do to work with Greg?
Well, we have a bid, so he has the bid price, and I think he just wants to work with Greg to see how much money might be available. Right, Josh, would you say that's?
Yes, ma'am, that's
Yes,
correct.
Yes, so you're good.
Okay.
He can purchase, he
All
can
right.
proceed.
We'll take advantage of the
Take
low
advantage.
pricing.
I
so-
agree.
Okay. Next item is to accept the only bid for 2104 signs from Econo Signs LLC.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman. Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 43 is to accept the only bid for 2105 gasoline and diesel fuel from Valor Oil.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne,
Second.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young. Esquire
Yes, ma'am.
Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 44 is to accept the bids for 2106 tree trimming from Runner's Tree Service and Gill's Tree Service.
So
Motion.
moved.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young. Esquire
Yes, ma'am.
Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman. Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 45 is to accept the only bid for 2107 bituminous asphalt for resurfacing from Scotty's Contracting in Stone.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young. Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman. Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 46 is to accept the bids for 2108 drywall services from T&B Drilling, Inc. and T&T Contracting.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young. Esquire
Yes, ma'am.
Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman. Esquire Payne.
Item number 47 is to approve interlocal agreement between Allen, Barron, Butler, Edmondson, Hart, Logan, Metcalf, Monroe, Simpson, and Warren, which specifies the respective roles of the individual chief local elected officials pursuant to Section 107C of the Federal Act and to comply with the Kentucky Workforce Investment Board's policy number 15002 on interlocal agreements.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman. Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 48, approved determination in the amount of $4,815.50 to Dell Technologies for 2 laptop computers at government pricing for the administrative offices of Warren County Parks Department.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
No, because I need to talk to you about Lisa. She had
Okay. All right. For 49, approve the audit for the Warren County Fiscal Court for the year ended June 30th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 50 is to accept the only bid received from Intech Contracting, LLC, for repairs to the Old Richardsville Road Bridge in the amount of $293,523. This is for construction only.
So moved.
Who was that? Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions?
Josh, was this within the scope of what your budget was when we first talked about that?
Yes, sir. If you'll remember, we initially looked at making some structural improvements to increase the load capacity of the bridge. However, we were fortunate to receive funding through the state, through the Transportation Cabinet for this work. However, they requested that we keep the scope to keeping the bridge essentially as is as far as the load capacity. We were awarded, I believe the number was $312,000 towards the construction of this project, and so it doesn't happen often, but I'm pretty excited that the bids came in below that number. So what funding we're getting from the state will take care of all the construction costs on this project, which is great for all of those involved. So yes, it is within scope, it's within budget, and so looking forward to getting this one off the ground.
Awesome.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other questions about that? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 51 is to approve termination in the amount of $22,354.50 to Duke Sporting Goods for 140 Scut, or Scut, however you
Shoot.
pronounce that. What?
Shooty.
Scoot?
Shooty.
Football helmets at 120 shoulder pads and replacement helmet earpieces. There are 3 quotes obtained. This was the lowest and best quote.
Motion.
Motion, Squire Lawrence. Second, Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 52 is to approve the third quarter financial report for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter. Second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 53 is to grant Judge Executive and County Attorney authority to negotiate final agreement, draft detail, and to sign agreement on behalf of Fiscal Court of Warren County with NCTC and Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation to build fiber expansion in currently unserved or underserved areas of the county, and to provide affordable access to high-speed internet services to every home that they pass, subject to the county's issued RFP and consistent with the NCTC RECC June 1st, 2021 proposal authorizing the county to pay out $10 million total over the time throughout the 24-month maximum build-out period with payment draws monthly.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings to approve, second by Squire Gorman. Any discussion or questions?
This is a good day for Warren County. It's a great day for Warren County.
It is a good day, and this is something that will benefit citizens for at least 50 years, maybe 100 years, because the fiberglass is not, it has expandability and is not as dependent on so many electronics when you're dealing with wireless. So this will be a wonderful opportunity for everyone throughout the county to get true high-speed, uncluttered internet service.
And the most important word when there was affordable. Make sure that's key.
Right.
It's affordable.
Right. The service that they're providing is not only affordable, which is important to us, but it's accessible, which you can have affordable internet and no one can get to it, then you have nothing.
They have local offices.
Pardon me?
They have local offices that you can call.
Right, they have local offices here, and I think the big point is their members are our taxpayers and our citizens. So we serve the same people. I believe this will be a good opportunity to get quality internet, high-speed internet service to the remainder of our county, and it's certainly at a great deal less than what we were looking at 3 or 4 years ago. Very, very thankful for the proposals that were received and the responses that we got.
We should clarify the $10 million, that's federal funds coming to us, correct?
Not necessarily,
No, okay.
no, but we have the federal funds to do it if necessary, but we also have a lot of genuine need for any federal funding that we have coming in. So we're not putting that in the grant because we're not necessarily, it could be coming from our own general fund. Okay.
We have a motion and a second.
Pardon me?
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we need to pay the bills. Will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General fund, $866,352. Road fund, $105,554. Jail fund, $261,076. Stormwater fund, $60,095. And Fed forfeiture fund, $423. You have to enter.
Make a motion, we pay the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young to pay the claims as submitted. Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If no one has a problem with this, I'm going to take the department heads and elected officials' reports out of order this time because I'd like to move Chris Kummer up on the agenda. He has a presentation which he had ready before the fiscal court began, and I was in an effort to try to move a lot of our visitors through here so they could get on back to their jobs. I've held up some of his special guests and our special guests that also needed to get back to their jobs. So I apologize to Chris, and I apologize to everyone who's on here for this presentation. But Chris, I see that you're already queued up here.
Real quick, sorry, Chris, if you'll stop sharing and reshare just the presentation, it might show up a little bit better for everybody.
Bear with me here, Nikki. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's a little confusing,
Gotcha.
but it'll just be better for everybody.
Is that better?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. All right, Judge and Magistrates, I appreciate you letting us go through this. I do want to just introduce a couple people that are here on the call with us today. We have Tim Secura, who is the Executive Director of Sky Soccer, is on this presentation, as well as Kim Thompson, who is going to be the President of Warren County Youth Football League, and then also Daniel Whitley with Arnold Consulting and Engineering, Benjamin, Jeff Arnold, and their team. And so what we're doing today is, as you all may or may not know, over the past 10 years, just as we've done with the multi-purpose tennis facility that we're currently in the process of building, and we're making really good progress on, that'll be open later this fall. We've also been looking at some other areas of recreational need within our community. And what I'd like to do here just briefly is to go over some concepts and some recommendations that we would have in regards to soccer multi-purpose sports fields within our county park system. And so if I can get the slide to work here. Nikki, is that working? Can you see the slides? Hopefully. Okay, here we go. So as you all know, we have basically 4 regional park locations. We have Basil Griffin Park, Ethan White Park, Michael Buchanan Park, and Fillmore Park. Bowling Green City Parks has a large facility at Preston Miller that has multi-purpose sports fields that they use for soccer and other activities. And as our community continues to grow, Warren County, and as people and residents seek more recreational opportunities, we feel that we're at a strategic time with our partner organizations to be able to better service those citizens and families and youth, our young people, with the expansion of multi-purpose play fields that currently our park system is short on. With that being said, local organizations, again, when we look at projects, we try not to make them single purpose. We're always looking for multi-purpose options. And so in saying that, we've looked at this from the multi-purpose play side with the fields, that this could benefit local youth soccer programs, our local youth football programs, our youth lacrosse programs throughout the community, and would strategically place fields within our system that could better serve the populations in those geographical areas throughout the county. So briefly in this presentation, I'd like to go over 3 initial proposals, and then I'd like to go over a recommendation in your all's consideration for potential multi-purpose play fields. It does include budget breakdowns, and all this information will be sent to you. We were working on some final figures late into the night last night to make sure that what we're presenting today is the most current market and reflects the most current market values that we have for the project. All right, so concept one is Ephraim White Park. So this would include, and the sticker shock is pretty big. So when we looked at this, we wanted to look at all proposals and all possibilities within our system. So concept A is at Ephraim White Park, and it includes one indoor multi-purpose building with an indoor soccer, lacrosse, and football field. So it would be multi-play. It would be about a 94,000 square foot building, and then it would also include 2 outdoor multi-purpose sport, outdoor soccer, lacrosse, and football fields on the location. The estimated cost at market pricing as of yesterday would be somewhere in the tune of about $16 million in regards to see this right here. So what you're looking at is to the left here, if you can see my cursor in the upper left-hand corner, is our existing athletic ball field complex, which we're actually going to be hosting the district and state Little League tournaments here within the coming weeks, which we're excited about. You have our senior center here where the cursor is, and then right behind the senior center, we have, per our master plan and strategic plan study that was done about 20 years ago, we had a recreational use facility behind the senior center. So if you're familiar with Ephraim White Park, this is very close to where the drone park is. It's where the old BMX track was back in the day. And so this is where we proposed this indoor multi-purpose play facility. We've also proposed coming across the street or coming across our current walking trail, adding an asphalt road that connects with our main primary road that connects the gym, the athletic complex area, and including a bicycle walking lane that would extend all the way to where we call it the crossroads, basically where you branch off either to the gym or you branch off either to the senior center and our athletic complexes. As you'll note here, these 2 outdoor fields, all the fields that we're going to be talking about today are 300 feet by 165 feet of playable surface. And so that would enable us to play varsity football, youth soccer, adult soccer, and then varsity level lacrosse. And so at the end of the presentation, I'm going to show you a really cool picture from yesterday because we do have lacrosse at our facilities that's currently playing, as well as these other sports that are needing more facilities. This does include parking to accommodate both the indoor facility and the outdoor facility. However, the price tag is around about $16 million for this one concept. So this is concept A. We've included a breakdown of costs, and I'm sorry this is hard to see, but through Daniel Whitley, Jeff Arnold, Benjamin at ACES, they've really spent a lot of time helping us and researching this. They have an itemized breakdown of what the cost would be at current market pricing, knowing that those pricing variables, just as Josh said before, can fluctuate. And so there is a note at the bottom that reflects that. And you all, the file that I was trying to send out is so large that we're going to have to print it off, and we'll get this presentation to you by the end of the day in your mailboxes at the courthouse. So I do apologize about that. Moving on to concept B. This is Spillmore Park, and so as you all know, when Fillmore Park was built back around 2000-2003 timeframe, per our master plan strategic study at the time, it did include 6 outdoor multi-purpose sports, soccer fields, football fields, lacrosse fields, and what we're going to propose here is this is again at $3.7 million for this addition. Basically what this is this is 6 grass, turf, soccer, lacrosse, multi-purpose play, football fields. This would include all the outside fields that we're looking at today would include Musco lighting, high LED with directional tilt to keep the lighting that kind of with the old halogen lights kind of bled out. And this would provide direct lighting to these fields. It's worked out really well at Ephraim White Park and Michael Buchanan baseball and softball complexes with being able to direct that light onto the field. This would be the same. It does include 503 parking spaces and basically takes up the entire property to the left of the existing dog park. And so, again, we would have lights here. This is in a floodplain, so we are sensitive to that. The parking lot area would be made of reinforced concrete so that if it did flood and when it would flood, It would be easily cleanable. We would be using portable toilet systems, as we do at a lot of our regional parks, as well as hand washing stations that are portable for the public to use. That way, if we did have flooding events, it could be easily dealt with. In talking about flooding, all the amenities we would have here would be removable. That includes the bleachers, the goal systems, the benches, the poles, etc. The only thing that would not move is the fields and the lights. And the lights would be designed so that all the internal hardware on the pole would be elevated above the floodplain level. So this is the proposal for Fillmore Park, and we're calling this Concept B. Any questions up to this point? Because now we're going to get to what we're kind of recommending is a multifaceted option that would service all three parts of the county. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. So on each of these, again, this is a price breakdown of the actual Fillmore Park project in the tune of about $3.7 million to what was viewed here with current market pricing. And so moving forward, what I'm recommending is that we look at the multi-sports fields and we look at these as placing these in our three primary regional parks. The reason I want to present this is as our community continues to grow and to better offer close recreational opportunities to all citizens. If you live in the northern part of the county, the eastern part of the county, or the southern part of the county, we feel that this recommendation would be able to serve those citizens, serve the local soccer programs, service our youth football programs, and then service lacrosse throughout our community and other groups, both inside Warren County and outside, to be able to have some flexibility and to be able to have multi-use at all of our main regional parks. Also, in this proposal, the infrastructure and staffing of these sites would enable us to be more efficient, and we would be able to use existing staffing levels. And looking at a concept that Greg had talked to us about in regards to using more seasonal employees, we've actually put together the staffing for this using part-time staff so that we could save in regards to staffing and employees to help run these facilities. We are proposing that we put in 3 synthetic turf fields. There's a benefit to synthetic turf that you can play in all weather. As long as it's not lightning, you can play in snow, you can play in rain. We've met with the company that provides this, ACES, and Daniel and Ben. They've spent a lot of time researching the pricing on this, and we feel that being able to add 3 synthetic turf fields as well as 3 grass fields for a total of 6, this would enable us to mitigate the flooding issues at Fillmore Park while at the same time being able to provide that synthetic turf option, which has been needed here locally for many, many years. So with that being said, this is part of Concept 2, and this is a 3-faceted recommendation. And so this would be to install the 2 multi-purpose synthetic turf fields at Ethan White Park. The estimated cost would be about $2.9 million for this. And basically what you'll see in this design is right where our drone park is, where the building was. That would be for future growth of this land area. I do think that in time, over the next 10, 15, 20 years, there'll be a requirement for additional indoor play space as our community continues to grow. And so what we're recommending with this concept A2, as we're calling it, is go ahead and recommending that we install 2 synthetic turf fields to service the northern side of Warren County, and also act to help facilitate additional field space needed throughout the county for soccer, youth football, and lacrosse. These fields come with drainage systems that would come with Musco LED lighting. Everything here is portable again, and then enough parking spaces, approximately 105, to accommodate with plenty of extra grass parking for major events and outside groups that may want to use these synthetic turf options. All right. With that, we do include the price breakdown from ACES. I'll go over an operational price breakdown with everybody before the end of the presentation, and we're almost done, so bear with me just a little bit longer. In Concept B2, we wanted again to focus on the 3 regional parks. This would include adding 3 multi-purpose sports fields that are all turf, all grass, no synthetic, that would be for soccer, football, and lacrosse at Fillmore Park in the amount of $2 million, roughly $2,105,000. What we did is we allowed, we do have several events that still use this area for mud runs, different things like that. So this would enable us to have some hardened parking for additional non-soccer, lacrosse, and football events, while still allowing us the opportunity to expand in the future. And this would include 3 grass fields at the Fillmore Park area, adjacent to the dog park entrance, and then also adjacent to our primary roadway down to river access, which this year has been explosive in the use of that outtake there. So this would be what we're proposing. The design would be the same: concrete parking. All amenities are removable except the light poles. These fields would have irrigation that would assist in drier periods because they would be turf, preferably a Bermuda mix that would allow for greening in the spring, and basically keeping a nice mix in there like you've done with our other Little League and tournament fields with the rye fescue mix during the off season. So that works out really well, and we feel this would be a viable option. Again, price breakdown in regards to materials, estimated cost, and again, appreciate ACE's hard work on getting that put together. The final recommendation we would make, again, for this 3-tiered public play option to ensure a quality of use and a quality of use of facilities at all areas of the county, which the city would be serving through their Preston Miller Park and Lambton Park features, which they've made some improvements and upgrades over the last 5 to 10 years. This is concept C2, which this would include a multi-purpose field at Michael Buchanan Park, which would be a soccer, football, lacrosse field, and this would be estimated at $1.4 million. This would be a synthetic field. And if you're familiar with with Michael Buchanan Park, which everybody is, this is the upper complex or the O complex. This is the stormwater shared use facility with Public Works County Park Stormwater. This is an existing play field, which is turfed and grassed. What we're recommending here is we make this for better accessibility of patrons, make this an actual paved parking lot with proper ingress and egress, and then we would have one turf field here to allow lacrosse, football, and soccer in the southern part of the county. There was another proposal to include another soccer field here down in the flats as you first come into Buchanan Park. However, when you play soccer and football and lacrosse, you don't like having fields that are going east to west. You want to try to have them as much as you can north to south so that the sun's not in the opposing team or the home or away teams, depending on where you're configuring that on the field, in their eyes. And so we thought with all the other development we have here with the new multi-purpose building, we also have the option, which we've already funded, to have our multi-purpose tennis facility have indoor turf. And so really, here at Michael Buchanan Park, you would actually have the ability to have one indoor turf field. You would have one outdoor turf field. This would be synthetic, AstroTurf style concept, and it would be directly behind our upper complex. Again, price breakdown in regards to earthwork materials, infrastructure needed, comes in right at about that $1.4 million. Operational costs, so I wanted to be real about what it would cost in the first year. And so you'll notice that starting at the top, moving over, we have a basic description of the items, the quantity, the unit cost, and the total. To kind of just make it summarized, which you'll have all this in more detail, these would be for 48 tilt and row, 4-row bleachers, 21 feet long, each ball field. All 6 ball fields would have 8 bleacher sets. It would include 6 multi-purpose scoreboards for multi-sport, both for soccer, lacrosse, and football. One scoreboard would handle all 3 activities for $6,000 each. Portable toilets for field locations, there would be 15 at Fillmore Park, 10 units at Ephraim White, 5 units at Michael Buchanan Park with the proper hand washing stations, which I think that's going to be something that we're going to continue well beyond COVID times, because that does provide such a great sanitizing service for our patrons as they use the facilities. And then also the estimated use of all utilities, including electric and water, for all 3 properties is estimated at $78,000 for the first year, with having to irrigate 3 ball fields at Fillmore Park, as well as the electric infrastructure install costs. It includes the football markers and pylons. So when you play soccer and football, you have to have the amenities to make the field right. So we've added that cost in there, and we've gone as far as putting the soccer flexible flag sets, all the varsity goals. On each of the fields that we've presented, we're talking about 6 varsity level fields. All of these fields can actually have 2 to 3 smaller age groups. So at the height of it, soccer could have the ability to have up to 18 additional mini pitch courts on the 6 existing, which would allow them a lot of flexibility to increase and expand their programming throughout the county. So the goals are on there, the team benches, the score tables, the coated trash cans, and then we would be recommending 6 additional part-time staff at the $11 per hour rate over 52 weeks. That may be scaled back to around 42 based on seasonal play conditions once we would get that from our partners, in the tune of about $68,000 per year. That would be an operational cost of approximately $384,600 for year 1. And then if you go in and do the comparison from the recommendations, if you take the expensive option, option 1, long-term, that would be roughly, with the operational cost presented, $20,573,418. What we're recommending for equal distribution of multi-play facilities around the county to best serve all of our citizens and to be accessible to the best extent that we can make possible is to provide fields at all 3 of our primary regional park locations. 2 at Ephraim White for $2.9 million. 3 of the grass pitch fields at Fillmore Park for $2.1 million. And then Michael O. Buchanan Park with 1 artificial turf field and parking to make that accessible with the operational cost. We put that project at $6.8 million approximately for adding 3 AstroTurf fields and 3 grass fields. And in conclusion, this is a great picture. I try to get out to I'm at the parks all the time. I'm living and breathing the facilities. I love just walking around and talking to people. And this was yesterday. We had South Warren Lacrosse was out there using both of our fields. And this is just one of many uses that we have of our green space outside of what we're kind of known for baseball, softball, our gymnasiums, and our trails. We have other green space that is utilized, and we feel that the presentation as presented today gives a very good, fair, equal distribution of multi-purpose play options. And I would just ask that the court consider this expansion and growth option as our community continues to grow. And I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions, and sincerely appreciate Daniel, the ACES team, Tim, and Kim, and all of our community partners and being willing to support the projects, and would be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. That's a really, really good, comprehensive presentation, Mr. Comer and Jim. Again, I apologize, Ben, everyone who's there. I apologize for having you all here at the end of the meeting instead of at the beginning. When we get to this point again, where we need to take some action, I'll promise I'll put you first before the meeting starts. Everyone's in such a hurry today. We just went ahead and tried to accommodate some of them, and while we were on a roll, I thought we'd go ahead and finish the agenda items. Esquire Gorman is our resident soccer specialist here, and I don't know if he has any questions, because those will probably be the most to the point and important questions that we can ask, since he's the only one who knows a heck of a lot about soccer. I apologize, Tony. I know you know something about it too.
Well, Chris, great presentation. It is, of course, growing. The number of youth playing it continues to grow each year. It's a great thing. One big advantage, I'm glad we're going away from the indoor. That is a big chunk of change to go to something like that. But one thing about soccer, I always want to look at multi-sport and multi-purpose, but one thing about it is the overall cost, the maintenance cost and everything to continue to do that is relatively inexpensive relative to gymnasiums and other things like that. So I think it is something that can, for us to give serious consideration to and take a look, and I'm sure there'll be more questions, but it is a growing sport, something that can help quality of life issues with Warren County for sure.
I know where you can cut some money and turn the air conditioner off in this building.
I couldn't hear Tony, so I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what Tony said.
Blood thinner.
It's probably best that you can, Chris.
All right. Have you already provided copies of all this to the magistrates?
No, sir, our internet was out here at the office yesterday, so we have copies of the entire presentation with the breakdowns that we will have to fiscal court here by 12 o'clock for the magistrates. We tried to send out via email, and because of our system being down yesterday, we do appreciate our provider getting us back up quickly, but we were down yesterday afternoon. So we were putting together figures last night and yesterday, so we want to make sure we gave everybody the most current figures, but we will have copies to the courthouse for all magistrates by lunchtime today.
Thank you. I'm sure they'll all be interested in studying them, but I'll be back with you on this. Obviously, we can't do everything we want to do at one time, but
Judge, I have one question on his original proposal for Fillmore Park. He had facilities on the west side of Scottsville Road, but on the other proposal, the synthetic turf, he had them on the east side of Scottsville Road. Just curious if you can do it. I mean, why would you put those in the same spot you would? I just asking, why would you two different locations?
On the gym side of the facility, we looked at all the locations there at Fillmore Park, and on the gym side of the facility, we're booked in with cross-country, the cross-country track. We actually have a state-recognized KHSAA track at Fillmore Park. So on the gym side of the property, we didn't want to disrupt that. On the Oldstone side of the property, we did on the 3 option. There is some additional excavation work as you get closer to the Oldstone access road as you go up that hill. And if we can rewind several years ago, the mud events that we have tend to have some pits in those areas. And so we kind of, with that 3-field option, it still gives us the ability to offer multi-use of Fillmore Park for, say, Tough Mudder events, CrossFit events, Mud Happens events, which Family Enrichment will be doing there again this year. It allows us to do that, and by having those fields closer to the road access point, we felt that was the best strategic spot. Moving them behind the actual dog park, again, it would be more excavation work in regards to, there's some hills there, we have some other gullies and some drainage washout areas that kind of go underneath the bridges. That's kind of the reasoning kind of behind that. So we've tried to keep everything on the Oldstone side simply because we were going to cause too much disruption to the cross-country layout that we currently have on the gym side. And from a flooding standpoint, that entire area, both sides, all the way up to the backstop of Field 1 at Fillmore Park, is in the federal floodplain. So we do feel that where we are proposing to locate those 3, with them being grass, we do flood cleanup there probably 2 or 3 times a year. With being able to have the grass foundation, the lighting elevated so that we can keep the main component pieces out of that, we feel that we can weatherproof that a whole lot better and have minimal loss, just like we've done at Basil Griffin Park after the flood of 2010.
Any other questions, Mr. Comer? We've never had enough. Pardon me?
I would like to thank Tim and Kim, both Tim with Sky Soccer. He's been very helpful, and he and his entire crew, and then Kim, our soon-to-be president of the Warren County Youth Football League. We really appreciate her support and all of her efforts with her board to support youth football within our county, and youth soccer on Tim's side.
And I appreciate their support on these projects, and I also appreciate the time, the unusually large amount of time that we asked them to sit through this morning. But I appreciate your all's involvement. We all know and realize that we don't have enough soccer and football fields, or any other fields for that matter, just to get through the weekly practice. So we're anxious to look at these and see the ones that that help the most for the youth of our community. Any other questions for Mr. Comer or for Kim or Tim?
Good presentation, Chris.
Thank you so much. Sheriff Hightower.
Joe, just got a couple of things. One, I just want to thank Charlie Scott with the Warren County Welfare Office. We had a situation come up yesterday with somebody who had gotten kind of dislodged here in Warren County, and they're always great just to give them a call and help this young man get to his family and all that. And I want to thank Chris too. Chris worked with the Warren County Sheriff's Office a few weeks back, and we had a Louisiana-style Cajun boil. And so we had somebody from the office who ordered that stuff in from Louisiana, and so we were able to use G.H. Freeman Park. So just a great opportunity for our office, kind of everybody to get together post-COVID and share in that. So, and then we also have I'm going to be doing a fundraiser here in the near future for the Boys and Girls Ranch, the Sheriff's Ranch, and it's going to be a Tip the Hat event to Sheriff Gaines for his tenured service here in Warren County. And so that'll be August 5th at 6 o'clock that night. We have the Honorable Amy Milliken's going to be one of our presenters that night. And so we have several folks that are going to just be sharing some of his history, the Sheriff's Ranch, and so it should be a good event. And then I didn't know, were we going to, I think you sent me an email last night about the COPS grant. Were we going to, was there some questions about that, or were we going to?
Well, my only question was just how the difference in the grant money and where the other money was coming from, whether it was fiscal court money or sheriff budget money.
Okay, and I sent you an email last night basically talking about it. The COPS grant basically has a maximum of $125,000 per officer hired over a 3-year grant period. And so the total cost for 2 officers under this would be $479,424. The grant would cover $250,000 of this. So the Warren County Fiscal Court would be responsible for a match of $229,000 over a 3-year period. So basically that's $76,474.67 a year for 2 certified officers. So basically it comes out to $38,000, $237 per officer, which equals about $18 an hour. So, you know, the grant, and we talk about, man, the great things in this community, the growth of this community, the needs for the additional spacing for soccer and all that. So once again, it's the additional needs as we continue to look in the future for traffic and patrol, for the safety and security of the community. And this is an opportunity for a cost sharing of this, where the county would end up paying $18 per hour for each of these individuals. So I've got it into 3 different categories that we're looking at, and when we devise these grants, they're very competitive, as you understand. So just because we say we're going to look at this doesn't mean we're actually going to get the grant. So very competitive. So a couple of different options is, one is we take these individuals and put them in our school system, and then the schools could potentially have another cost sharing even with who we put them with, and we can roll some of our non-House Bill 364 deputies out of the schools and back into traffic and patrol. So that's one option. One option would be to put one in the school, and as we know, we may have a potential retiree who helps with Parks and Rec, and then that person would also be helping with Parks and Rec. We'd have one in the school. So once again, with the increased activities that are happening at our parks too, and Wayne does a phenomenal job. We don't want Wayne to go, but you know, we keep trying to to hold him back. But, you know, those are things we have to look at. And so how many more visitors, people, spectators are we going to have at parks? So Chris and I are meeting, I think it's Tuesday. We have a meeting set that morning. I have another meeting set with Rob Clayton with the schools to talk about this other option on Monday. And then the third possibility, like I say, would be to put one person maybe in the school or parks and use the other person for, as we talked about, the traffic deputy, because we have an enormous amount of different folks within the community who want people to slow down. And so that's difficult with the setup right now. We put guys out to run traffic, and then they get calls. There's injury accidents. There's a stolen vehicle this morning. There's all kinds of other things that takes them away. So, but that's kind of the different options in the cost sharing. So worst case scenario, it costs the county basically $76,000 a year, and there may be some other options for some cost sharing with the schools on this as well. So that, I think, is I replied back to that email. So I didn't know on this grant if we had to do some kind of vote on that today. You know, Greg, I think you were talking to them about going forward to apply for it.
As far as a vote today?
When do we have to apply?
It's this coming week. I mean, I think she had sent that information out, so Stephanie had sent that out.
And after, this is a 3-year grant, after the third year.
After the third year, then it's all on us. But you think, in 4 years, I mean, there's going to be a need for the increase anyhow, so.
So the 76,000 per year.
That includes
was
both.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
But that doesn't include the 4th year.
No, the 4th year, it rolls into where our obligation is to have these folks hired.
So it'd be about 150.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the other thing, do these 3 positions require?
2 positions.
2 positions, I mean, require additional training? Do they require additional vehicles and additional equipment?
They would require that they go to the Department of Criminal Justice for training, or we hire somebody who's already certified. So either or, it doesn't specify.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we would want certified police officers, deputies that would be working on this. So then, depending on if they go to the schools, the cost sharing, if we look at what type of vehicle that they would need or utilize, and so that is another thing that we're continuing to work on, is trying to figure out. Right now, as we know, vehicles are difficult to come by, and so we still have not received our 2021 Tahoes we ordered last year, and right now they don't even have an idea when those might even be actually made. So that's always a concern as well. But within the fleet right now, we have some older vehicles that we continue to keep, and so we could utilize those.
Okay. This is the cops hiring grant, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
we need to look at getting approval for. I think, as I understand it, I have to sign this by the 15th, which would be Tuesday.
So Amy, will we need a motion from fiscal court to pursue the grant?
Sure.
To grant Judge Buchanan the
Yeah.
authority
I'll
to
make
sign.
a motion, we grant the judge authority to pursue this COPS grant. So,
We have a motion by Squire Cummings and a second by Squire Gorman to give me authority to sign the cops hiring grant for the 2 additional deputies about the 15th. And I think, now let me make sure I understand this. The Brad is the one that's getting ready to, is going to.
Brad, Dana Crockett is going to be the one carrying kind of this through.
Okay.
So I think there was some conversation between her and
Well, I had talked to
on it.
Jennifer about it,
Yeah.
and then I think that you had talked to the Brad, and the Brad has agreed to do it without cost.
Right.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
We-
And like I say, this is just a shot. I mean, it's a shot at it. There's
Can I
no
ask a
guarantee.
question? Sheriff, do we have to put them in schools, or we could put them on the road?
No, you could put them on the road. I'm just looking at cost sharing opportunities, and then if we put them in the schools, maybe roll the other non-House bill guys back out on the road. So
Okay, that's fine.
there's a way that we
Because
could.
If we put them in school in the parks, that's,
Yeah, but we're not short someone in the schools right now, are we?
No, sir.
no, this would be someone more or less backup for the roaming, I mean, from school to school, right?
Right.
not a
It
specific
just-
school like the SRO officers.
Yeah, we have 7 of our 10 SROs are what's called house bills. So they're retirees that we don't have to pay into the FICA and all the other cost sharing of that. 3 of them are regular deputies. So potentially though, we could roll 2 of these in there, roll 2 of those guys out that are the non-house bills. So we'd have the guys on the road and we'd also still fulfill our obligation for the schools.
One thing that I'm sure most of you know, but maybe all of you don't know, is that Wayne is leaving us.
Maybe.
Wayne Mayfield has done the most amazing job at the parks.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how much I hate the fact that he's leaving.
He was a fantastic trooper. So.
Wayne, I was on my way in this morning. Wayne got behind a stolen vehicle, ended up getting it stopped with no incident. But he is constantly, if you look at the data and stats, he's the top. Just he's amazing. So
He's like a superhuman law enforcement officer.
He is. Always has been.
Yeah.
Always has been.
So I'm just, I know Chris is equally as upset about losing him as I am, or you all are, but anyway, it's going to take more than one to do the job that Wayne has done over the last few years. He's really improved the quality of life for not only the kids, but for their parents that attend these games. Yes, sir. Mr. Comer?
Judge, I'd just like to say, just to give a little bit of a perspective, back when the Parks Police Program was created, we were averaging on a yearly basis, keeping Leslie Buckley with the County Attorney's Office busy, we would average about 100 to 150 incidents a year that required some type of discipline. But 98% of it, based on the report that we gave to Fiscal Court at that time, was disciplinary behavior of adults, people acting poorly, people fighting, people acting disorderly. We had drug issues, we had alcohol issues. Within this Parks Police Program, which the sheriff has been so gracious to allow us to continue with, we have not had a single appeal hearing in 3 years. The program speaks for itself. It provides that level of safety and security that in this time, in this environment, in the world that we live in, youth sports, we're getting teams from all around the country. We had a tournament 3 weeks ago. We had teams from 30 states. We're getting big market teams. We're getting big competitive groups. And so with that comes a lot of your big city problems. And having that law enforcement capacity in Wayne has been absolutely amazing. He has that demeanor to be able to go in and be just a Parks and Rec person, giving lollipops out to kids, but then he can also switch over into law enforcement mode. And when Wayne comes around, Wayne knows everybody, so that helps too. But when Wayne comes around and he switches gears, we've had 0 problems in that 3-year period, as well as the security upgrades we've made in the building. So that's just from the parks perspective. Before Wayne, how we did it was Chris Comer, several other staff. We would go to apartments, we would go to houses. We would be out at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, getting drunk people under the influence out of parks. And that has been something that we have not had to do in 3 years. So we greatly appreciate the support of the Sheriff's Office. We could not do it without them, and we have been truly blessed to have Wayne, and we're really going to miss him. And we support the Sheriff in his efforts to try to help keep the program going through whatever means we need to do that.
Yeah, we're going to have a void when Wayne Mayfield leaves. Is it the end of this month?
No, he's holding on.
He's extended a little bit?
He hasn't given us
Thank God.
a date, so we're just kind of hoping that he forgets about this.
Don't call.
Yeah, next year we might still be.
Yeah, well, let's hold on to him as long as we can.
Yeah.
Because it's truly just totally changed our Parks Department, all of them. And even the people who have been problems in the past years, they've come up to me and told me how much more they appreciate the fact that they're not getting antagonized by other people. They feel safer at the parks. It's truly made a difference to the people and the children. But Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion about the COPS hiring grant? Okay, let's call the roll.
Esquire Young. Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Yates, are you on here?
Ain't nobody on here. We're so good.
They all left us?
To our meeting, so.
All right, so Ms. Yates has left. Had to go back to work today.
There's the gentleman.
Taylor Harmon, I see you on there.
Judge, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Got a couple of quick things. I'll try to be brief. One, I want to say thanks to Chris for his work on that presentation. I have I guess a bias on the lacrosse part of that. My daughter was voted or ranked, I guess ranked #1 based on stats as the female goalie in the state for girls lacrosse high school. So definitely an up and coming sport. It's getting bigger all the time. So looking forward to some piece of that project moving forward for that up and coming sport. Also want to thank you, Judge, for giving us a warm welcome at the Kentucky Jailers Association. Was hosted here in Bowling Green this week, and it ended yesterday at lunch. Had a great group. It was a memorial event honoring the 5 correctional officers or jail staff across the state that lost their lives to COVID. And so it was the first conference since before COVID, and also kind of had a somber atmosphere to it, but it was a great training. We had lots of great presentations, and I was proud to have them here in Bowling Green. There was about 500 registered in the conference, so hopefully they all spent a bunch of money while they were here. Looking forward to our first COVID vaccine clinic here in the jail with the help of Southern Health Partners, our medical unit, and then also the Health Department. Will be doing that next Friday. It'll be a week from today. I've gotten word from Department of Corrections that we can slowly start letting inmates go back out under community supervisors, such as the Parks Department. I've already sent that word to Chris, so we'll have to renew the training. So hopefully in the month of July, we will get a lot of those crews back out working for the first time in, I guess a year and a half, something like that. So excited that some of that is starting to loosen up as far as restrictions, but we're going to do it very cautiously. At the same time, I don't want and can't afford another outbreak here in the building, and so we're easing into that, very cautiously, and I'll keep the court updated with that, and looking forward to getting the rest of the road crews up and running also this summer as we get enough staff to do that. So appreciate you again, Judge, for being at the KJA and opening that up for us. And if you need anything, let me know.
Thank you, Taylor Harmon. I appreciate you. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Pearson, are you still on there?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Loving? Ms. Lewis, you still on? Mr. Appling? Mr. Peterson? Mr. Markram, I see you're still on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Court.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Squire Payne, you have anything?
No, sir, I just need a coat.
All right. Squire Lawrence?
Judge, I've been out to look at the new multi-function facility we have at Buchanan Park, the tennis facility. It's awesome. I would be curious to find out how much we actually saved on what the price would be if we'd have put that off 1 year. And started that thing this year. We're talking millions and millions of dollars out of this thing.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably 50% of what it would be this year. Wouldn't you think, Tony? I mean, you're more involved in the building business.
Yeah, I mean, steel's gone sky high.
Yeah.
I'm really
Steel.
excited about it. I'm really happy we done it when we did to save that money.
I am too. Squire Gorman?
Nothing, Judge. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend.
Thank you, sir. Squire Cummings?
Since we're trying to get this thing over with, just two things. Congrats to Jailer Harmon for getting elected on the board for the Jailers Association. And
Congratulations.
And the biggest thing that we need to consider here at court is congratulations on your anniversary. We need to have Ellen in and have some sort of medal ceremony to honor her for how many years was it this year?
48 years.
48 years.
And
Pretty amazing.
we went together all through high school. Before that, it was 7 more years, so I'd be 50.
Well, she
She's put up
definitely
with me
deserves
for a
something,
long
that's for
time.
sure.
Need to get up.
Pretty amazing. Squire McWhorter?
He stole my thunder, and I have this week, the 16th, my 48.
Good for you. Congrats.
So we've been together 51 years, roughly plus.
When you're old, you're old.
That's right. Very blessed, very blessed.
Ms. Milliken?
Thank you, Judge Buchanan. I wanted to say a happy 90th birthday to Don Sargent's father-in-law, Norm Hunter. He turned 90 yesterday, and so I know they're excited about that. So happy birthday to Mr. Hunter.
Yeah. Please pass on our good wishes that he has many, many more. Good birthday.
Yeah, I bet.
Mr. Burrow?
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Hale?
Thank you, sir.
Judge Smith?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, our next meeting is, unless we have one before, which we could have because this is the last month of a fiscal year. But right now, our next regularly scheduled meeting is Friday, June 25th at 9 a.m. here. Let me also say, before we close, that I am so happy to bring to fruition this finalizing of the agreement to get high-speed broadband, make it available to every home in the county. This is a rare opportunity for us. We've worked on this for 10, 12 years plus, and it's always been elusive for one reason or another. Cost has been out the roof. At one time when we were looking at open system, it was like 130 million. Anyway, I think this was a primary opportunity, and I'm so thankful that we took advantage of it while we had all the players at the table. And I think the fact that our two primary providers here in Warren County had both just gone through an RDOF reverse auction with the federal government to get some of the perimeters of the county awarded to them from the FCC. It really got them more involved in the engineering so that they could be ready for an RFP. And I think while they're trying to get out to those most remote areas for their award from the FCC, they're actually having to go through and lay some fiber that they didn't have before just to get out to those areas. So I think that's one of the things that made it more competitive this time around. And we're very, very, very happy to finally get to this point. This is something I'd give anything if we'd been through this before COVID, but I'm not sure that we would have ever had the opportunity had COVID not heightened the senses of people who didn't realize how badly they needed high-speed broadband. Anyway, I'm very thankful for it, and if if there's no other business to be brought before this body today, I have a motion to adjourn by Squire Lawrence and a second by Squire McWhorter. All those in favor, please say aye.